Hi, welcome. Today we're here with Duane. Welcome, Duane. Thank you for joining us. Please
Well,
introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about you.
okay. I became a photographer and then I began to tell stories with photography. And then I began to make movies. And now I'm 92, or is it 29? No, I'm 92. And, and a partridge in a pear tree.
That's really okay. So, what made you want to be a filmmaker or a photographer?
Uh, I'm a storyteller by nature. I'm a big reader. And it seemed very reasonable to evolve. Although I became a photographer, I never went to photography school, and I went to Russia and I took a camera, borrowed Tom Lacey's camera. And if I had never borrowed his camera, I never would have been a photographer. And every time an opportunity came my way, I grabbed it, and I've been evolving ever since then. And it's making these little moves are a logical conclusion to my history, and I love doing it. And I'll tell you my big secret of success. You want to hear it?
Sure.
Okay. You find something you love doing, and then you get somebody to pay you to do it. I haven't worked in 60 years, and I prefer my photographs to be seen in books, and I like movies. I'm not, well, I don't walk around the street with a camera looking for something to take a picture of.
I guess you kind of answered, how long have you been doing this?
Well, I think about 9 years, isn't it, Josiah?
Yeah.
9 years or so. But with good behavior, I'll get out at 12.
Okay. Um, so when your friends and family said, when you told your friends and family you're going to make the transition from photographer to filmmaker, what did
Yeah.
they say?
Oh, I don't know. I never asked them. I couldn't care less what they said. They didn't ask me if I wanted to be born. Why should I ask them if I want to make? No, 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 I know. I don't need anybody's approval. You know, my dad was a steel worker. See my shirt? It says the Steelers.
Yep.
I'm from a suburb of Pittsburgh, and I'm very proud of my blue collar roots. Andy Warhol was from the same area, and he denied he was from Pittsburgh. You know, he pretended he was from. He got uppity and said he was from Philadelphia.
Pittsburgh now is considered a great little town. I've been there.
Yeah, it's terrific. I love it. I do. I'm trying to do a project there now, where I used to live, actually.
So do you have a group? I guess in some ways this you already answered this, but do you have a group of filmmakers, photographers that you're part of your village?
No,
No, no.
never. And I've always been a loner and a groaner and a crooner. Ooh, ooh, and a spooky guy. No, I've never been a joy. I've never been a part of any kind of, although I do love the surrealists. I like surrealists.
Okay. So what made you want to make this movie? What was the inspiration?
Oh, it's very easy. I was an officer during the Korean War. I got a commission in quartermaster, and they sent me to Germany to tanks. If I'd gone to Korea, I'd be dead. I was 21 going on 12. I was a total fuck up, and I wasn't interested in being in the army. And that's a whole. I did a book on it. Actually, I did a book on everything. But in my platoon in tanks, I couldn't associate with the officers. I didn't like them. They were shitheads. And I couldn't associate with the listed men. And I was 21 going on 12. And there was one guy in my platoon, Dave Burkett. He was very nice and we chatted. He was very intelligent. And sometimes we would walk down over the hill and David would join me when I was walking, and I would walk with him and not the officers. So after I got out of the army, I don't know how we stayed in touch. And one day I was living in my little apartment in the village on Charles Street, Friday night, and there was a knock on my door. And I opened the door, there was David Burkett. And my God, David, what are you doing here? What amazing. And he said he had come up from Washington, D.C. to ask me to be the best man in his wedding. in Ellerslie, Maryland. And I thought, wow, that's amazing. Of course I'll be the best man in your wedding. And I was because he had a older brother who I would have assumed would have been the best man. So then I said, well, David, I'm going to have dinner. I was Friday, you want to come and join us? He said, no, I've got to go right back to the the bus station, get the next bus back to Washington to go home. So he'd only come up that, asked me, and turned around and left. So I went down to Ellerslie and we had a nice time. And his mother was she ran the post office. And I made a joke about his mother being the postmaster's mistress, and it was fun, but we kept in touch. And he lived in a suburb of Washington, and he would come up and visit. And of all the people from the service, he was the one that we became friends. And then he had a son, and over the years, we kept in touch. And then one day, once I went down there, it was a Friday night, and I called up David and I said, I'm in Washington and I'm doing a job tomorrow. And he said, where are you? And I said, the hotel, whatever, the Hotel Bimbo. And he said, well, don't go away. And he came down. He was in bed and he came back downtown and we had coffee. So finally, after his coming to New York and visiting, one day we were sitting in the park, and it was at least 10 years after that. And I said, David, we've been friends for all these years now, and I don't know whether you know it, but I'm gay. And he said, well, okay, whatever, was very passive. But then I never heard from him again. And I always wondered what happened to him. And recently I sort of tracked him down. It was very hard to find him. And his wife died at 93. And I heard he had died at 90. But I was always probably wounded more than I want to admit, because I thought we were good friends and I would have assumed that wouldn't have been an issue for him. So that's the true story. I'm going to make a musical of it, doing the David Burkett.
There you go. All right. So what was the hardest part about making this movie? And what was the most fun part about making this movie?
Well, the hardest part was it was fun. The whole thing was fun because I could indulge my memory, and I keep getting confused with the rapid tide. That's the nice thing about being old, that I can call on my memories and I can regurgitate moments and do something about it. That's very liberating to be able to do something about it. Oh, and since then, the movie was shown in Pittsburgh, my hometownish, and somebody there knew David, and we've been in touch with them. The
power of film.
Yeah, I love film. I think that we are in the great age of film, especially the mini films. Everybody takes photographs now. And I tend to admire what I can't do. Like I admire trapeze artists. You never get me up in one of those things. And things that we can do, we tend not to respect as much. So I always respected filmmakers, but I like the scale. I do small pictures, and I like the scale of the films. I like to have an emotional impact. If somebody offered me $1 million to make a movie, I'd certainly do it. I always say yes and then figure out how to do it. But that's the excitement, the challenge. Our movies are no two are alike. And that's why I was confused with Rabbit Died yet again. And I don't feel comfortable in my comfort zone. It's always the question. And I've got a great helpers. And Josiah, my assistant, I couldn't make any of these without him. He's, if I say, let's make this upside down, he turns me upside down, which is very upsetting. And then the blood rushes to my head and all the pictures look red. No, but I like whimsy and I like nonsense.
Okay. Okay. You're actually a great person to interview. All right. So when you make a film, are you done? Do you say, okay, I put that child out into the world and I'm done with it? Are you the type of person who always sits there and goes, I could have done that better, and
No,
someday.
no. I do it the best. I don't fuck around. No. Everything is concentrated on that. And I love accidents. I was an accident, actually. That's what Rapidite is about, my being an accident. And my mother having to marry my father. They never liked each other. He didn't even like me. I didn't like him. That's another story. Anyway, no, we evolve. We start out with the premise, and Josiah and I are very much on the same cycle. I mean, I think we're very attuned to each other, attitudes and appetites, and not all the appetites, but attitudes. Yeah, and it's nice to work in sync with somebody.
Okay, great. So in the indie film world, we all know we're not going to become wealthy, not from making indie movies. So what is success? What does success look like in the indie film
no,
world?
I don't have any what's that called? I don't have any pretensions to, making it big in Hollywood and glam bam, thank you, ma'am. None of that. No. I like Monday, Josiah and I get together and I said, listen, I was thinking maybe we should do a movie about an upside down turnip, or we could be a tomato. No, I mean, I just love this. I look forward to it, and it's amazing. It evolves. We figure tricks and non-tricks, and I like the act of making the film, and I love when it gets out there. We've done 90. Can you imagine that? And I'm 92. That means we've done almost 2 more movies, and we'll do it. My 92 movies, but it's the process. That's what I'm saying. It is the process of making the film, and it's always nice if somebody else sees it. But it's the excitement of saying, "Oh, look at the shadow. Let's do something with that shadow." Okay, but we
So the-
send them out,
So
to
the
be.
process is the reward in itself.
It is. It's the end in itself, and the film is the reward. And that's not to say we're not open to possibilities. That's the big secret of success, is being free to abandon your last security. I did a gay movie. It's called Are You Still a Faggot? And it was very good, but I didn't do Are You Still a Faggot 2, Are You Still a Faggot 3. Sometimes Are You Still a Faggot goes west. No, it's boom,
You're done.
out. Yeah.
So let's say somebody comes along and goes, Uncle Duane, I want to be a filmmaker.
Yeah.
What would you say to them?
Do it. I had 2 choices of life, doing and bullshit. My father was a big bullshitter. We were always going to go to Lake Conneaut. We never went to Lake Conneaut. And we never went anywhere. And so I made a point of, if I thought of something and I said I was going to do it, I do it. I feel very responsible. I didn't want to be a fake, a phony, a fuck up. Anything starts with an F. Fuck you up. Fuck up you. No, but I mean, no, it's, let's see, what are we doing this night? Josiah, did we talk about this week what we were
Yes,
doing?
we're doing the thing about what you did on Saturday.
What I did on Saturday?
Yeah.
What did I do on Saturday? Oh, yes, I forgot to tell you. Last Saturday, I took acid, LSD acid. I hated it. And it's on my bucket list. Yeah, I hated it. And then I took mushrooms. My great friend Fred died about 7 or 8 years ago, I guess. And then I took mushrooms and I hated it. I'm goofy enough. I don't need, I don't need the salad bar, It's all good,
Yeah. It's okay. The film is called What Became of David Burkett. Sorry.
Yeah.
What Became of David Burkett. It's going to be shown in New York City Independent Film Festivals.